When you talk about the Atlanta Braves, you're not just talking about a baseball team. You're talking about time itself, about generations who grew up beneath the same tomahawk logo, about fathers and sons who watched games together at Fulton County Stadium, and about a city that learned to believe again, from Boston to Milwaukee to Atlanta. The Braves' story isn't just about winning. It's about surviving, adapting, and building something that lasts forever. The Braves have seen war, relocation, heartbreak, and triumph. Yet through every era, certain men carried the flame. These are the 20 greatest Atlanta Braves players of all time. The ones who turned heartbreak into history and history into legend. Number 20, Ronald Acuña Jr. represents the rebirth of Braves baseball. His energy is electric, his confidence contagious. When he steps to the plate, fans don't just expect something, they feel it coming. Acuña doesn't just play baseball, he electrifies it. He represents the new Braves dynasty, the bridge between the legends of the past and the champions of the future. Number 19, Johnny Logan. Before the Braves were Atlanta's team, they belonged to Milwaukee. And Johnny Logan was one of the city's favorites. Before there was Chipper or Andrelton, there was Johnny Logan, the sharp fielding shortstop who helped define the Braves' infield in the 1950s. Logan spent his best years in Milwaukee, pairing perfectly with Eddie Matthews and Hank Aaron to form one of the most formidable lineups of their era. A four-time All-Star and a consistent hitter, Logan was known for his toughness, a grinder who showed up every day and gave everything to the game. He was a crucial piece of the 1957 World Series champion Braves, a team that brought Milwaukee its first baseball title. Number 18, Wally Burger. In the 1930s, when the Braves were still in Boston and struggling to find their footing, one man carried them through the darkness: Wally Burger. Burger was a rare, bright light during some of the club's toughest years. He smashed 38 home runs as a rookie in 1930, a record that stood for decades. And he carried a team that often struggled to score runs. Burger was a four-time All-Star and one of the purest power hitters of his time, finishing with a .300 lifetime average. He didn't need a powerhouse lineup around him. Burger was the powerhouse. For Braves fans of the 1930s, he was the reason to keep coming to the ballpark. The one man who made them believe that greatness could still wear a Boston uniform. Wally Burger was proof that even in the toughest years, the Braves always had a hero to believe in. Number 17, Tommy Holmes. Few players ever captured the quiet grace of baseball like Tommy Holmes did in the 1940s. While the world was at war, Tommy Holmes was hitting everything in sight. In 1945, he set a modern National League record with a 37-game hitting streak, a record that stood until Pete Rose broke it in 1978. Holmes was a quiet, disciplined hitter, rarely striking out and always finding ways to get on base. That year, he led the league in hits, doubles, home runs, and batting average, all in one season. Holmes wasn't flashy, but he was a craftsman, the kind of player who represented baseball's golden age with grace and precision. Holmes' story reminds us that greatness doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers. Number 16, Brian McCann. Atlanta has produced many stars, but few as beloved as Brian McCann. Brian McCann was Atlanta-born, Atlanta-made, and Atlanta-proud. The seven-time All-Star catcher became the emotional core of the Braves during the 2000s. Behind the plate, McCann was a master. He had a special ability to handle pitchers, call games with instinctive precision, and command respect from everyone on the field. At the plate, his powerful left-handed swing made him one of the best-hitting catchers of his generation. Consistent, clutch, and always dangerous, McCann helped guide the Braves through a changing era. Between 2006 and 2013, he was arguably the best hitting catcher in baseball. And when he returned in 2019 to finish his career where it began, it wasn't just a homecoming, it was a full-circle moment for one of the city's most beloved players. Number 15, Fred McGriff. They called him the Crime Dog. And Fred McGriff brought a serious bite to Atlanta's lineup in the 1990s. When he joined the Braves in 1993, the team was already strong, but McGriff made them dangerous. The Braves were already good, stacked with pitching and young talent, but McGriff made them championship caliber. His arrival mid-season was electric. In his very first game, he homered, and from that moment, Atlanta's offense came alive. The team caught fire, surging all the way to the postseason. Through the 1990s, while names like Chipper, Maddux, and Glavine dominated headlines, McGriff quietly delivered, postseason after postseason, the kind of reliability that wins championships. He finished his career with nearly 500 home runs, and in 2023, finally received his long-overdue call to the Hall of Fame, a fitting tribute to one of the Braves' most consistent and respected stars. Number 14, Vic Willis. One of the earliest stars in franchise history, Vic Willis pitched for the Boston Beaneaters, the team that would later become the Braves, in the late 1890s and early 1900s. Known as the Delaware Peach, Willis was a workhorse who led the league in innings, complete games, and strikeouts multiple times. He threw over 400 innings in a season, something unimaginable today, and won 249 games in his Hall of Fame career. In the early, rugged days of baseball, Willis was one of the toughest pitchers alive. The kind of man who'd throw until his arm gave out, then ask for the ball again tomorrow. He defined the word grit. Number 13, Joe Torre. Before he became one of the most respected managers in baseball history, Joe Torre was a player who could do it all: hit, catch, and lead. During his years with the Braves in the 1960s, Torre was one of the best hitting catchers in the game. He was a 5-time All-Star with Atlanta and the 1965 Gold Glove winner. Torre's intelligence behind the plate and his calm presence in the clubhouse made him a natural leader, traits that later defined his managerial success with the Yankees. But his foundation was built in Braves country, where he learned the game's deepest lessons firsthand. Number 12, Kid Nichols. When baseball was still finding its identity in the late 19th century, one name rose above nearly all others: Kid Nichols. Pitching for the Boston Beaneaters during the 1890s, Nichols wasn't just dominant, he was revolutionary. He racked up an unbelievable 361 career wins, a number that still ranks 7th all-time more than a century later. He recorded 7 seasons with 30 or more victories and helped lead Boston to 5 National League pennants, establishing himself as one of the first true superstars of the sport. What made it even more remarkable? He did it all without modern technology, advanced conditioning, or detailed scouting reports, just pure skill, control, and mental toughness. In an age before pitch counts, radar guns, or analytics, Kid Nichols was a one-man pitching machine, a pioneer who set the standard for generations of greats to follow. Number 11, Freddie Freeman. Few players have captured the heart and soul of Atlanta quite like Freddie Freeman. For more than a decade, he wasn't just the Braves' first baseman, he was their heartbeat. The quiet leader who showed up every day, played through pain, and carried his team through every high and low. With his smooth, picture-perfect swing and trademark consistency, Freeman became one of the best hitters of his generation. He earned 5 All-Star selections, won the 2020 National League MVP, and most importantly, helped bring Atlanta back to the mountaintop with a World Series championship in 2021. But beyond the numbers, it was his character, loyalty, and leadership that made him unforgettable. The kind of player fans could trust and teammates could follow. Even after his emotional departure to Los Angeles, Atlanta still feels his presence, because Freddie Freeman wasn't just a great player, he was family. Number 10, Dale Murphy. In the 1980s, when the Braves were fighting through years of inconsistency, one man carried the franchise on his back: Dale Murphy. A 2-time National League MVP, Murphy was more than just the team's best player. He was its moral compass. With his powerful swing, graceful defense, and unshakable humility, he became one of the most admired figures in baseball. From 1982 to 1987, he hit over 30 home runs in 6 straight seasons, captured 5 Gold Gloves, and never once took a day off when the fans expected to see him play. Murphy may have never reached the postseason heights he deserved, but to the people of Atlanta, he didn't need to. He represented loyalty, integrity, and quiet greatness, the kind of player who defined an era even when the scoreboard didn't. Number 9. Andruw Jones. When Andruw Jones exploded onto the scene in 1996, he was just 19 years old. But he played like a seasoned superstar. In his very first 2 World Series at-bats, he hit home runs, instantly etching his name into baseball history. From that moment, fans knew they were watching something truly rare. Over the next decade, Jones became a defensive legend. With 10 Gold Gloves, the most ever by a center fielder, he turned highlight catches into routine plays. His range, instincts, and timing made him the gold standard for defense in the outfield. But Jones wasn't just about the glove. He hit 434 home runs, including a career-best 51 in 2005, proving he could dominate on both sides of the ball. Effortless, graceful, and powerful, Andruw Jones didn't just play center field at Turner Field. He owned it. Number 8. Tom Glavine. Tom Glavine was the quiet genius behind the Braves' legendary 1990s pitching trio. While others overpowered hitters, Glavine outsmarted them. With his pinpoint control, icy composure, and ability to paint the corners, he made pitching look like art. Over his career, he won 305 games, earned 2 Cy Young Awards, and captured the 1995 World Series MVP, helping Atlanta bring home its long-awaited championship. Glavine didn't rely on speed. He relied on strategy, consistency, and fearless execution. For 17 seasons, he was the steady heartbeat of the Braves' rotation, the man you could count on every 5th day to deliver a masterclass in pitching discipline. Number 7. John Smoltz. John Smoltz was the fire to Tom Glavine's ice, the emotional spark of the Braves' golden era. Fierce, fearless, and fiercely competitive, Smoltz brought intensity to every pitch. What made him truly special was his versatility. He's the only pitcher in MLB history to record both 200 wins and 150 saves. In his prime, Smoltz could dominate from any role, as a Cy Young winning starter in 1996 or as a lights-out closer when his team needed it most. He was the 1992 NLCS MVP, and in the postseason, he became something even more. A warrior who thrived under pressure, turning October nights into personal battlegrounds. When the stakes were highest, Smoltz never blinked. He didn't just pitch, he attacked. Number 6. Eddie Mathews. If Hank Aaron was the heart of the Braves, then Eddie Mathews was its thunder. A fierce, left-handed slugger. With a swing built to punish baseballs, Mathews was the only player to represent the franchise in Boston, Milwaukee, and Atlanta. A living bridge through every era of Braves history. He hit 512 home runs, led the league in homers twice, and alongside Aaron formed one of the most feared power duos the game has ever seen. But beyond the stats, Mathews was pure intensity. A leader who played with grit, pride, and loyalty that defined generations of Braves fans. He wasn't just a Hall of Famer. He was a cornerstone, a thunderclap that echoed through Braves history. Number 5. Greg Maddux. When Greg Maddux joined the Braves in 1993, he didn't just bring talent, he brought an art form. Maddux didn't rely on speed or power. He relied on intelligence, precision, and mastery. From 1992 to 1995, he won 4 straight Cy Young Awards, 3 of them with Atlanta, a record that stands as one of the greatest pitching runs in baseball history. He could predict a hitter's next move, paint the corners like an artist with a brush, and control every inch of the strike zone. With 355 career wins, Maddux didn't just pitch. He engineered victory with the mind of a chess player and the grace of a surgeon. Watching him was watching baseball poetry in motion, a man who proved that brains could be mightier than brute strength. Number 4, Phil Niekro. Before the Braves' dominance of the 1990s, there was Phil Niekro, the knuckleball magician who carried the franchise through its toughest years. For 2 decades, Niekro stood on the mound with nothing but faith in that unpredictable pitch. A knuckler that danced, floated, and confused even the best hitters in baseball. He won 318 games, threw over 5,400 innings, and became one of the few players whose career seemed powered purely by passion and endurance. Even when the Braves weren't contenders, Niekro gave fans a reason to believe, a reason to show up to the ballpark. He was a symbol of perseverance, pitching deep into his 40s, proving that heart could outlast youth. His Hall of Fame career isn't just about numbers, it's about love for the game and never giving up, no matter the odds. Number 3, Chipper Jones. For more than 2 decades, Chipper Jones was the face of the Atlanta Braves, the steady heartbeat of an era defined by excellence. A switch-hitting genius, Chipper blended power, patience, and pure baseball IQ into one seamless game. He won the 1999 MVP, made 8 All-Star appearances, and captured the 2008 batting title, all while staying loyal to one team for his entire 19-year career. Something almost unheard of today. With 2 700-plus hits, 468 home runs, and a highlight reel full of clutch performances, Jones didn't just represent Atlanta. He was Atlanta. From the cheers at Turner Field to the October pressure of postseason nights, Chipper's bat and leadership carried the Braves through every chapter. His legacy? A player who aged gracefully, competed fearlessly, and left the game with the same class he entered it with. Number 2, Warren Spahn. Warren Spahn wasn't just a pitcher. He was a symbol of endurance, grit, and timeless greatness. With 363 career wins, the most by any left-hander in MLB history, Spahn was the cornerstone of the Braves' pitching staff through the 1940s and 1950s. He led the league in wins 8 times, tossed 63 shutouts, and seemed to grow better with age. His high leg kick, precision control, and fearless attitude made him a nightmare for hitters and a hero for fans. What made Spahn's story even more remarkable was his journey off the field. Serving in World War II, earning a Purple Heart, and then returning to baseball not weakened, but stronger. By 1957, he was leading the Braves to a World Series championship, cementing his legacy as one of the game's toughest competitors. Even in his later years, Spahn's mastery never faded. He pitched like a man with endless fire, the kind of athlete who saw every inning as a battle to be won. Number 1, Hank Aaron. And at number 1, there's only one name that could ever top this list: Henry Louis Hank Aaron. Hammerin' Hank wasn't just the greatest Brave, he was one of the greatest players in baseball history. Over an astonishing 23 seasons, Aaron hit 755 home runs, breaking Babe Ruth's hallowed record, and doing it with a calm strength that inspired millions. But behind that smile was unimaginable pressure. As he chased Ruth's record, Aaron endured threats, hate mail, and racism. Yet he never lashed out. He just kept playing, kept hitting, and kept proving that greatness speaks louder than hate. When he finally broke the record in 1974, it wasn't just a sports moment. It was an American moment, one that transcended baseball. Aaron finished his career with 3,771 hits, 2,297 RBIs, and an incredible 25 All-Star selections, achievements that may never be matched. But beyond all the numbers, Hank Aaron's true legacy was his dignity, grace, and unshakable integrity. He carried himself like a man who knew that greatness wasn't about fame, it was about purpose. He didn't just change baseball, he changed America. From the dusty fields of 19th century Boston, to the roaring crowds of Milwaukee, to the bright lights of modern Atlanta, the Braves' story isn't just about baseball, it's about resilience, about heroes who carried the weight of generations, and about fans who never stopped believing. These 20 players, from Kid Nichols to Hank Aaron to Ronald Acuña Jr., are more than just names on a list. They are the living heartbeat of Braves history, and long after the final out, the echoes of their greatness will still be heard. Every time a child picks up a glove, every time the tomahawk rises in the air, and every time the city of Atlanta remembers that legends, never truly leave the game. Before leaving, do subscribe to our channel so you don't miss our videos.